It's a revelation to use something like this in the consultation.
It changed the way they think about their pain. It was an educational tool. It very commonly brought out problems in their lives or their history or their experience of chronic pain in the past that they hadn't really ever considered might be relevant.
It focused me on actually what I was coming to the appointment for. I was homing in more on what was bothering me about that. Was it that I was unsure about the diagnosis? Was I worried that I was on the wrong medication?
What the toolkit and using that helped me to do was to look much more effectively at the patient's life, how it was affecting them and how I could specifically support them to make changes.
The project started because we're at the coalface on the charity. We have people calling the helpline regularly, and you become aware that the same story is coming up all the time, and that is that people have difficulty communicating about their pain with their doctor, and their needs are not being met. Their concerns aren't being heard or addressed in any way that really helps them manage their pain. Often they're just being given a prescription and sent away.
I wanted to hit him, to tell you the truth, because he just did not listen to me. And he never flagged up the fact that I was getting repeat prescription after repeat prescription.
I was involved with the first project that we did at Pain Concern, first research project, which was the Barriers Project, which involved us interviewing loads of healthcare professionals and patients about the difficulties that they encountered in consultations. And that threw up some areas that we're aware of anyway, but I think it clarified our thinking and made us wonder, could we do something to address some of those problems?
We had evidence to back up what we thought. So things that we'd heard through the Pain Concern helpline or things that we'd heard anecdotally, we knew about these, but there wasn't really a good bank of evidence to be able to say to the wider community, you know, these are the problems that some people have talking about supportive self-management. So although it wasn't surprising, I think it was really beneficial to then have that real source of evidence that has allowed us to move on to make the new resources that we're trying to do.
I mean, anybody who has chronic pain and takes painkillers knows that if they help, they don't take it all away. So you really have to self-manage. The message we were getting time and time again from people contacting us was that wasn't being done in an effective way.
If you don't understand pain, it creates fear. And when you have fear, it creates all these other huge negative emotions, all the chemicals that releases in the body, which actually makes your pain worse.
One of the key points where problems arose was often the appointments that people had with their primary care specialists. That then became the obvious next phase that Pain Concern wanted to concentrate and really kind of hone in much more specifically on those appointments that people had.
When we recruited the healthcare professionals, we were quite open with just saying, do you see chronic pain patients? And if so, are you interested in speaking about self-management approaches with them? We have something that we think might help and we want to try it out. So already the healthcare professionals that got in touch with me were already interested. But it varied a little bit in the experience that they had. Some of them were quite experienced in using these approaches already and wanted to get their hands on something that they could then show to other people and really say this has been in a study and I've used it and it works. Other people I think were attracted to participating because it was something that they knew they wanted to improve on. The previous research showed that there are barriers. They were saying, yes, well, I have these barriers, I want to see if this tool really overcomes them.
Essentially, it's a comprehensive guide to support good conversations within the surgery. The toolkit is really a tool for the patient to enable them to reflect and consider the impact of their chronic condition on different areas of their life, and it enables them to think and prepare for a consultation that they can then guide, and that in turn is enormously helpful for their GP. It enables us to look together at their priorities and tackle those things that perhaps they hadn't considered or perhaps were causing more concern than they'd been aware of before they'd looked at it in totality.
I'm excited that people have been using this actually as part of their consultations, I suppose. Because some of the other resources that we made, the videos and things like that, they're on our website and people can use them if they want. Whereas these are actually, they're actually out there. They're going into primary care. So I think that's really exciting. I think that's when you start to see a real change.
Now we want to encourage a group of healthcare professionals to champion it, take it forward bit by bit with patients and then give us feedback. We also want patients to look at it on the website and decide if that is something they might want to start working on with their doctors.
The tool did meet its aims in ways that we were expecting, but something that I thought was quite surprising, or that I didn't expect, was that in my interviews with the patients that had used it, quite a few of them had taken it home and really gotten something from it in their own practice at home. It wasn't just about using it with their healthcare professionals and talking about it in the consultations, but they really found some inspiration and some hope in using it.
We're putting it on our website and just encouraging anybody with chronic pain to have a look at it. And if they think this would be a good approach, to actually download the forms, take them to their doctors and discuss using the tool with their healthcare professional, and just start. Give it a go and give us feedback.
It's a revelation to use something like this in the consultation.
It brought out problems in their lives or their history or their experience of chronic pain in the past that they hadn't really ever considered might be relevant.
It focused me on actually what I was coming to the appointment for. I was homing in more on what was bothering me about that. Was it that I was unsure about the diagnosis? Was I worried that I was on the wrong medication?
What the toolkit and using that helped me to do was to look much more effectively at the patient's life, how it was affecting them and how I could specifically support them to make changes.